Hey everybody, this is Joe from Thunk Tank Podcast, and today I just wanted to briefly talk about a topic that we will be discussing on our next episode on plastics pollution. And what I wanted to discuss was just a little bit about my own solution to that issue, which is beach cleaning. I've written about this before on the blog, and I've even made some other videos about this as a larger issue, but today I just wanted to talk about how I've been doing this on my own and sort of what you can do as well based on my own experiences. So this will all be covered in the next upcoming episode, but I figure here I can sort of catalog the specific steps that I take in order to beach clean so that they might help you if you decide, hey, you want to get out there and try it yourself. So again, there's lots of science behind like why plastic pollution and specifically ocean plastic pollution is an issue, both locally for local sea animals and sea creatures and critters and all that good stuff, but as well in the larger sense of just plastics degrading as they spread out throughout the oceans and all of that. So again, we'll talk about that on the podcast, and I'll link that I'll link sources to more details on that in the description. But again, there is a solution, or in part a solution, that a lot of us can be involved in, and that's beach cleaning. So if you don't live near a beach, good job, I guess. But there are plenty of other places where you'll see plastic waste, lakes, rivers, those sorts of other bodies of water, all places where, of course, you probably don't want plastics degrading in and poisoning the environment and the creatures that inhabit them. So yeah, there's a lot of reasons to remove plastic from waterways and the ocean. Besides the fact that it's great exercise, you get a lot of good lateral movement, bending over and reaching up and picking up garbage. And, if you're going to go for a hike anyways, why not do some good while you do it? All right, so a lot of people that I tell that I'm going out to beach clean, they often ask, or I guess wonder, what is it that I actually do in terms of how I do it and what do I actually bring? And you learn a lot. So I've been beach cleaning now the past year or so, and I've definitely learned some tips and tricks. So let's start with what to bring with you. And that might seem simple just as a statement, but there's actually a lot of factors to consider when you go out beach cleaning. My first suggestion is to wear a light backpack. Again, this could be a hiking backpack, or I just have like an old backpack, I think from high school. It's a pretty tough old bird, so I use that. And it's not huge, but it's plenty big enough to carry everything I need. And that's where I put all my supplies for beach cleaning. So the first thing that you're going to want to bring with you are bags. If you don't have bags, you're going to be doing a lot of picking up and a lot of dropping, trying to balance everything in your hand. So you won't get very far that way, unfortunately, no matter how well-intentioned your beach cleaning adventure may be. So I suggest not only bags, but multiple bags, multiple trash bags, usually larger size bags. Some people, the first time they go out, they bring grocery bags because they figure, well, if I'm going to throw those out anyways, I might as well reuse them. But you would be very surprised how fast those fill up. So big black bags, trash bags are probably for the best. Ideally, and this is something I haven't done yet and I would like to do in the future, is use like sacks, like giant burlap sacks or something. And the reason being is just to reduce the use of plastic bags. Again, even if you have, and this is something else that I do too, if you have a garbage bag for plastic recyclables and a garbage bag for regular waste materials that can't be recycled, those plastic bags inevitably wind up getting thrown out anyways. So I would like to just have like sacks that I could transfer all my other garbage into, but I don't have that yet. But that's one idea if you do have something like that. So yeah, I always recommend bringing 2 bags at least, one for recyclables and one for just plain old trash. Also, you have to keep in mind too what is recyclable and what is garbage. You'll usually see a little number inside of a funky looking arrowed triangle on the bottom of a plastic container or something like that. And that's how you know whether or not that object is a candidate for recycling. Now you have to check your local municipality, whoever comes and picks up your recycling, because sometimes they'll say, well, we only accept numbers 1 through whatever. And I think they go up to like 6 or 7 or something like that. I don't know what they do with the numbers that they don't accept if you put them in. Same thing too if you have like half bottles or you find parts or pieces of bottles. That's something worth looking into as well though. But just so you know, they do ask that you you sort by number, depending on what they accept. Another thing that you want to bring with you is definitely extra water. I made that mistake today. I got pretty dehydrated. It was not fun. But now it reminded me, bring more water next time when in doubt. A lot of times, especially when you're walking down a hot beach, I couldn't go in today because they said that there was bacteria in the water that was above levels they were comfortable with, which means I'm not going to be comfortable with it. So make sure that you bring plenty of water if you can't, in case you can't take a dunk, because what looks like not that far away in the heat soon becomes very far away, and it's always more difficult to trudge through sand than on soil. So yeah, don't get stuck out there without water like me. Also, you're going to want to bring sunscreen probably. Hat's a great idea. The crazier, wider brim hat, the better. And I also recommend bringing a picker thing. And I'm sure there's an actual name for these, but that's what it looks like to me. It's a picker thing. And I love it. It really helps not having to bend over every time I want to pick something up, which is part of the great workout. But again, that can get tiresome very, very quickly. So picker thing is a great investment if you get good with it. Tick and bug spray is another good item to make sure that you bring, especially where I pick up beach trash. It's like the Lyme center epidemic place of the world, I think. At least there's enough Lyme's disease for me to not want to deal with it. So tick and bug spray is always a good idea. And going off of that, some other general advice: try staying out of tall grass. They were right when they warned of velociraptors. The same thing's true with ticks. And as well, avoid in general suspicious or sketchy items. So a lot of times you'll be beach cleaning, you may see an item that you don't recognize. If I don't recognize something, I don't pick it up, because I've come across all manner of weird and strange things that you probably don't want to pick up. And yeah, that could get dicey sometimes. You know, sometimes it's just sharp metal objects or pieces of glass that you could cut yourself on. Other times it's straight up heroin needles. So I found all sorts of strange things. So just be careful of that, because you don't want to hurt yourself that way. And along those lines, I always recommend wear either thick sandals, or I even usually wear sneakers, just so I don't step on anything and then have a terrible day at the beach. Yeah, so that's my advice on what to bring with you when you beach clean. Again, it's a pretty nice experience. If you're going for a walk anyways, you know, why not try something that helps the environment, helps yourself, and others seem to like it too. Every time I beach clean, people are kind of shocked, amazed, and or confused as to what I'm doing. But I like to think it's catching on. I've definitely seen more people at my local beach cleaning than when I started. So what starts off as one lunatic with a picker thing and some bags can soon become a lot of lunatics with picker things and bags. So yeah, I would love to hear more about your own experiences beach cleaning, your own ideas. And if you would like to, know more about my own experiences or have questions, please, ask in the comments below. Today, just on an ending note, I picked up another 20 pounds of just plastic, not even going that far, maybe doing a mile hike. And that's probably, I calculated maybe the 20th time this year I've done that. And that adds up to, based on my rudimentary math, about 400 pounds. When you think about that, that's pretty crazy to get 400 pounds of plastic waste out of the ocean. And if you just think about, a few more people doing that really starts to add up very quickly. And of course, this doesn't necessarily solve the problem. Obviously, taking the plastic out, some of it that can't be recycled is obviously going to landfills, which hopefully, doesn't wind up again in rivers and then again back into the oceans. But even on land, that's not ideal because it still degrades there and pollutes, maybe the groundwater or local environment. But again, you recycle what you can, you get the rest out of the oceans, and there's a lot of science behind why plastic degradation within the ocean is a very bad thing. And again, I'll link that in the descriptions below. So yeah, thanks again. I hope you maybe feel inspired to go out beach cleaning yourself. And the next episode, we'll talk about this much more. So thanks again, and see you on the dunes.